I'm Izzy. I'm a young lesbian woman and I've been coming to LGBT Northwest for about a year, maybe a year and a half now. So.
Okay, what's your experience of using the service? How did you feel when you first came?
I felt a little nervous when I first came because I didn't know what to expect, and then after a couple of weeks had passed I was like, yeah, it's a really good place. Now I'll come here every week that I can.
How do you think it's benefited you?
When I first came here I was out to a few people but not many. LGBT Northwest gave me more confidence, so that when I felt ready to come out I just let people know, and it made it easier for me to come out.
What have you actually done in projects? What's your involvement in any projects?
At the moment I'm taking part in Exceeding Expectations, which is going into schools and telling young people about kind of coming out and like homophobia and stuff like
that. LGBT Youth Northwest has helped me with a lot of things: gaining self-confidence, getting accreditations, going into schools, helping teach young people about homophobia, biphobia and transphobia. It's also helped me on a personal level, made me realise that my gender identity is different, and it's helped me come to terms with that, and has made me feel okay living as I am and being as I am today.
Okay, and tell me about the anti-bullying project.
We go into schools with a project called Exceeding Expectations, where we deliver our workshops, which looks at what homophobic bullying is, why it's important to stop, and the effects it may have on other young LGBT people in the school.
Why do you think it's important for young LGBT people to be actually doing that work in schools?
I think it's important for young LGBT people to go into the schools because they've had a first-hand experience of what it's like to be at school and be bullied for being gay, bisexual, lesbian or transgender. They know what it's like, they've been there, they've done it, they've bought the t-shirt and they've probably still got the ticket to hand to show you. They know how to talk and how to get more on the young people's level than, say, an older person would go, because it's a proven fact that young people are more likely to listen to another young person than they are an older person who would otherwise go into the school.
Okay. What sort of techniques do you use in your workshops?
Group facilitated sessions, so they're very, very practical, they're very hands-on, and we get the young people shouting out answers. It's not like a normal lesson, we generally sit around in a circle. Each young person who is running the session has a different section to do, like there's spot the gay person, spot the LGBT people. There's sometimes a young person who's running the session will give their coming out story and then answer questions. There's so long since I've done one.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there?
That's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. Yeah.
Jargon busters.
Okay.
As well.
What training have you had to deliver this training?
I went on a weekend-long residential in St Helens this year actually. I can't remember when it was, but sometime this year, which was really, really good. We were told like how to deal with difficult situations, what to do if we get asked questions which we didn't feel comfortable asking, how to talk in a way that people would understand, how to just generally how to be a good facilitator, which we're also getting accreditations in forms of key skills for doing this.
Okay.
And gaining self-confidence and self-esteem and making friends as well.
My name's Stephen and I'm a young man who accesses the gym and LGBT Youth Northwest. I've actually been part of the Exceeding Expectations work that LGBT Youth Northwest have done as a young person going into schools. I've received training, and I think that the project should be youth-led because it allows young people to have their voice heard on an issue that directly affects young people. Young LGBT people can often feel quite powerless in the education system, and by allowing young LGBT people to develop the skills and actually deliver the training not only empowers those individuals but also gives young LGBT people who are in the school positive role models, and can help bring their aspirations up and realise that they don't have to tolerate this kind of behaviour. Exceeding expectations should be youth-led as well, because young people can directly relate to each other and their experiences are more relevant than the experiences of adults who may not have been in education for a while, because things have changed. And whereas homophobic, transphobic and biphobic bullying in the past may have been more prevalent, now it may not be as prevalent, but it's still around, and it's in a different format, and young people can understand what it's like to actually be in the education system, and they can devise the best strategies. And LGBT Youth North West empowers young people in everything that they do, and the youth work curriculum and things are set by young people, and young people are consulted at every stage of development of ideas, and that's the same for the Exceeding Expectations. So it's allowing the young people with the experience and the knowledge of school life and what it entails, allowing them to decide how to implement the training. Young people as well utilise technology in a much more accessible way, because young people such as myself have grown up in an age where technology is changing all the time, and young people are using networking sites like Twitter and Facebook more, and the Exceeding Expectations can really utilise this experience and expertise that young people have in order to get the message out there more, and also in order to support LGBT young people who could sometimes be more comfortable discussing issues through the internet and through things like that, instead of in a face-to-face environment, because of the anonymity that the internet and things like that can give them. Young people are native to IT and can have a natural flair, whereas older people who may not have been brought up using certain technology on a day-to-day basis might find it harder. That's why young people should be involved and should lead the Exceeding Expectations work, and through LGBT Youth North West they will get the chance to have their voices heard, and their experiences will help other young LGBT people. I think I've benefited from delivering the training by actually having the opportunity to get an accreditation by going on a residential, and that is something that I can then use in delivering the training, but also in my further education and day-to-day life. But also what it's done is it's given me more confidence as a young gay man to tackle issues in my own life, and also it's raised my self-esteem a little bit, in that I now feel confident that I don't have to, and other LGBT people don't have to tolerate this kind of behaviour. And it's also made me realise that the vast majority of people, their prejudices come from ignorance, and by directly being involved in helping educate people, it increases your own awareness of LGBT issues, but also it helps increase your well-being and makes you feel like you're actually making a difference. And it's excellent that through LGBT Youth North West I've been given this unique opportunity, which I may not have been able to get through other youth groups. And I think just generally the fact that LGBT Youth North West do train all the young people and give them the leading role in delivering the training is a fantastic experience that you can then use in a whole manner of different places.